We've been to many museums across the country where civil rights is the subject. Many of the topics are linked across the museums, among them the contributions of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I'm the NYC Traveler. Following a civil rights history trail in the United States can take a lifetime, and in many of those sites, Dr. King, as well as other significant persons, will figure prominently. Here are just a very few highlights. In his birthtown of Atlanta, Georgia, most people will visit Auburn Avenue, where you can visit the family home, the original Ebenezer Baptist Church edifice, as well as the new building, the Martin Luther King Jr. National Historical Site and Preservation Area, and of course, the King Center for Nonviolent Social Change. Head to Memphis, Tennessee. The Lorraine Motel, where Dr. King was assassinated, is now the National Civil Rights Museum at the Lorraine Motel. This location is so detailed that not only can you view the history of the civil rights movement, you can see the room where Dr. King stayed and see out onto the balcony. The most chilling part is that the museum continues across the street, where you can see the room and the point of view of the assassin and all of the information about the investigation. Over in Topeka, Kansas, the focus is the landmark 1954 Brown versus the Board of Education of Topeka. The case challenged the practice of segregated schools, which were supposed to be separate but equal, as per the 1896 Plessy versus Ferguson. The timing of the decision places it just at the height of the beginning of the civil rights movement, which is why you'll find Dr. King in the timeline of the movement at this National Historic Site. In Greensboro, North Carolina, black students sat at lunch counters that served whites only to protest segregation, making this former Woolworth's now the International Civil Rights Center and Museum. The students say that Dr. King's nonviolent methods inspired them, and their efforts became the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. Birmingham's Kelly Ingram Park has a statue of Dr. King that is part of the commemoration of the events that happened in 1963, including the bombing of the 16th Street Baptist Church that killed 4 young girls. If you can't get to any or all of these places, Washington, D.C. will give one an opportunity to truly learn and celebrate the legacy of Dr. King. Start at the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture. There are permanent and revolving exhibits across the street at the National Museum of American History. The steps of the Lincoln Memorial was where the speeches of the March on Washington in 1963 were held, including the famous I Have a Dream speech. And finally, the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial, overlooking the Tidal Basin. I'm the NYC Traveler. Thanks for exploring with us.